Well, sort of went to the bathroom, so appreciate watching those ads. We are going to be waiting a little while longer. Thank you to XXX Ace Blade for the 5-month resub. Rip Bly. Yep, rest in peace. Till the next cup. I'm pretty excited to see Catalina again, but I think heard a lot of people say they don't really like it. It's not the worst map, but it is still a 3-player map, and there's been, I feel like, a bigger and bigger resistance against random spawns. So no one really minds that there's, you know, they're so big, there's a lot of other bases, and you can spawn different positions, but I think a lot of people do mind that you can't scout, like, in a dependable manner. And should that randomness really exist in StarCraft? And, well, Catalina is a 3-player map that is very short, so certainly a lot of Zerg players have problems with how good early pools can be. Doesn't mean that that's always used, it just is a potential problem and complaint that's been said. But that's honestly what I like about forcing the first map in these type of tournaments. I mean, they're kind of small, they're not the biggest deal in the world, your livelihood does not depend on if you win this or not. So forcing the odd map out every now and then, I really like it. I mean, I like the idea of canceling out 2 really bad maps, like the Alima League does, but I'm worried like that too many tournaments might want to do that, especially on the map pools where people have complaints. I think there is something to be said about the multitude of tournaments that we have, that even non-standard or bad maps should be played with and experimented with forcefully. But maybe things for like BlizzCon, you don't have secret springs for the deciding map. You know, maybe something like that. It's a little silly. You guys remember Secret Springs? I do. That's the map where I drunkenly called the 2-base all-in from the Protoss player. Well, apparently, SortOf is, you know, taking a while. Taking a while. Well, I guess still don't want to go back to a break, so just a reminder, this is the Corsair Cup, and it is sponsored and powered by Twitch and Corsair. And if you guys are interested in any peripherals or even just the computer parts like cooling or RAM or something like that, then you should definitely check the links down below. Even though they only link to the peripherals, you can navigate your way through the sites if you're interested in those other things, and it still counts as a helping hand for us, so that'd be appreciated even if you check things out. They have a couple of new products, I know that much. A new mouse recently released, and I just recently got a 10 keyless keyboard from them, so all things to check out. Oh, he's back. Time successfully bought. Hey. Yes, you guys will indeed see a map intro. Alright, they say ready, so time to go into that intro. See you soon.
아직 부족해
Love the intro. Love it. No hate, please. Hoi hoi hois all around. Guys, we're in the first game of this best of 5 final. It's the ZvZ in the middle left. Because Catalina's like that. It is the red Zerg Zanster. In the top right-ish, it is the blue Zerg, sort of. Thank you much to, well, I missed a word. Thank you very much to Juliet4151. The 11-month resub. Has it been this long? Yep. And you are 1 month away from a Ratoof. So, as I was saying, waiting for SortOf to get back, this map is problematic in that it can be you can scout incorrectly initially. Even the 10 seconds of your second Overlord getting the scout is a big difference maker if someone did go for an early pull. So, I would say most of the time we do see the pool first build come out from ZvZ matchup, and if not that, then it is the 14, 13, 12, whatever pool to be aggressive. These guys both opened with the pool first, but then a hatchery. Zanster did add on a gas pretty quickly, though. So this kind of turns what is, I think first and foremost a potential defensive build into a potential aggressive build. Like, you're going to have the faster speed by, like, a good 20 seconds, maybe? Actually, not sure how big of a difference this will be, but SortOf is only just not finishing his gas, obviously. So it will definitely be a difference. And whether or not Zanster is planning on abusing that can come down to how much he's able to scout. So the Overlords have seen where each other are. And these Overlords might go ahead and maneuver into a better position to be more helpful, but that'll be later. And the Zanster Overlords did see these slings. He should get his own soon enough. I guess that's what he delayed a little bit. Oh, he's actually really worried. He got a spine crawler. Okay, well that's interesting. So he saw early lings and was a little bit paranoid. Even though they weren't the fastest lings at all, they were off the back of a 17 pool. He still hadn't seen the hatchery, so as soon as he saw the hatchery, he realized, like, oh, he just made, like, earlier lings from a, an earlier but not earliest pool, and that spine crawler wasn't actually necessary. So gets 3 drones, a cancel on a spine crawler, and a little bit of panic from Zanster. I'd say those 6 lings were worth it. But Zanster, he does have the much faster speed. He might know it too. Just knowing, like, I got that faster build. And he's gonna go for a Baneling Nest pretty quick here. SortOf is trying to get to roaches. And this is the build I was talking about that Bly just seemingly doesn't want to do. Bly always wants to get that third base and then go into roaches, and it sometimes just doesn't work out for him. This is a much safer way. If you got a third base, you're also trying to defend, then that's a lot of space the roaches are going to be surrounded on. If you're just holed up in the natural, that's queens blocking. That's an extra layer of wall behind here if Zanster really did commit. And Zanster, well, he got the Baneling Nest. He also got the Scout and decides not to commit to any Ling or Baneling pressure. He cancels the Baneling Nest. So I like this maneuver. You can actually force the issue just going for a Ling Baneling all-in on a build like this, especially because I think a lot of time this is a lot more important. I think a lot of time the defensive player is not expecting it, but I didn't notice how many Lings were being brought up here, and Zanster didn't just cancel the Baneling Nest, he canceled speed? That must have been so close to being done. SortOf just bamboozled Zanster, and Zanster is desperately trying to get a wall off. Now, SortOf is still getting +1, and he still has a Roach Form, but this is so many Lings. And Zanster's only response is slow Lings, maybe now a couple of Roaches, and Queens. He absolutely needs more and more walls to come down here. But his creep strat wasn't even far enough to wall, in the most accurate way, so he had to do it in a really weird way. And now it looks like it's going to be game over. SortOf, with the ultimate bamboozle, I didn't even catch it. He was making Lings, larva by larva, and just ended up with like 30 or something. This looks like it's going to be game. Zanster's already down to 23 drones, and his last hope is going to be to counterattack with roaches, but SortOf has a roach warren. SortOf could get to his own roaches. Oh, this ended up being a beautiful maneuver. He also, you know, lost so many minerals trying to build and rebuild those buildings, and this is just not a good game for him. Zanster didn't lose all of his drones, so it looks like he's going to try and stay in this game, but sort of absolutely got a winning blow off of that. He also had started his +1, so that's not something that he has to buy time for. It was 100 invested early and is paying off so that he doesn't lose the Roach War. Although, honestly, I think his numbers would have won out too in defender's advantage. I really thought Zanster was going to tap out once those lings floated on top of the drones, but he is still in it. Sees no third base, maybe that gave him a tiny bit of hope, but there is one being taken now. Ling was very unsuccessful in blocking it. Oh, Zanster. I mean, it's a best of 5, so to give up one game and be like, okay, you got me, like, I didn't see the lings, like, that was my bad, whatever, dude, isn't too bad. But Zanster wants to try and stick in it, and unfortunately he's chosen the macro way, so he's just trying to make up for a lot of losses. That's not going to be the way to go. He's never going to win in the numbers war now. Maybe like a tunneling clause, you know, build could maybe do something. Like, basically Zanster has to do something to get away from just a pure numbers game. Technically an upgrade helps with that, but even then it's like this was such a severe numbers game that probably would not have been enough. So it's more like switching over into Aspire or going for fast tunneling claws or something really weird like fast lurkers. Like, it's got to be something different, or it is a very easy game for the person way ahead. They're basically now being taken by Zanster. They're basically now being saturated by SortOf. I mean, there's not many ways to talk about a comeback because Zanster isn't, like, the avenues that he's going with, the avenue, is not anything really worth talking about, I feel. Like, even if you got the better concave, it's half the army supply, equal upgrades. Well, SortOf might also be a little surprised that Zanster didn't just tap out, but he very quickly recovered from any momentary pause, like, okay, it must be GG now, and is on his way to a superb macro game. I think, in Capesa, okay, I chose the wrong guy to shout out in chat. I think your comment's right. Oh shit, Ace IDK. That Zergling emote ended up doing wonders. It's more than just a suspicious Zergling. Now this should be the tap out time because SortOf knows he has the ultimate advantage in roaches. He should just follow these roaches back home to Zanster's natural base, kill the natural base, and then maybe, just maybe, Zanster will tap out. 40 army supply lead, equal upgrades, no spine crawlers even to hope and pray. Those will work. This is gonna be it. Maybe the Leviathan 1000 with Twitch Prime sub. GG! SortOf finally gets the win. But what a tricky little build right there. I mean, even down to the Roach or the Evolution Chamber researching, was able to hide it to the very last second. That was really cool. You know, that +1 wasn't just a time investment for if this build didn't do enough damage, it was also something to trick Zanster. You see the +1 researching, if the Roach Warren isn't, well, maybe the lair isn't quite done, or they haven't really gotten around to it, but that +1 going usually means they're actually going for roaches into like a slow third base. There was all the right moves to trick Zanster, and Zanster had the right moves to respond to someone trying to get away with the Roach expand. Canceling his speed, getting that money back, getting his own Roach Warren in case they're going for an aggressive Roach attack. Canceling the Baliness as well, because he wasn't going to be able to do anything with it. Like, those were all, I think, actually very good moves. Just it was the absolute wrong time to do it. Oh my god, we're gonna Twitch staffer in chat, guys. Run for it! Get rid of all your ace IDKs, because it kind of looks like they're high. He's gonna report you to the popo. You guys want to see something really cute? Blazer's not my favorite cat, but he is still a kitten, and he's sleeping, and it's really cute. Blazer! Wait, what's happening? I don't know. That's not even from the right direction, you dumb cat. Alright, we're getting in the game. Blazer kind of reminds me of Ziggy in a lot of ways. Not because he's super shy and terrified of everything, but because he is kind of dumb. One of the dumber cats I've had. Anyways. It is game number 2, and Zanster is probably going to be looking for revenge for that bamboozle. But not with any early pools. In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, his map choice, it's Zanster. In the top left, as the blue Zerg, it is SortOf. So, I don't think SortOf is like necessarily known for doing those tricky builds. Bly being an aggressive guy, TLO sometimes getting out those trick builds from his creative notebook. Yeah, those are kind of, I guess, stereotypes. More expected, but that was a very good one. These guys had the tiniest little bit of banter in the first game too, where I think SortOf told Zanster to have fun, and Zanster replied with, "Oh, I will." Tiniest little bit of banter. I bring that up because I'm not sure it'll happen again. You know, there's not too many tricky builds in ZvZ, I would say. Well, I guess it's a decent amount. I don't want to take the mind games of this matchup away compared to any other matchup, to be honest. Because there's a, you know, there's the early pool. Is it gas or banelings? That can be kind of tricky. Definitely ways to be deceiving with that.
I'm not gonna drunk. Oh, on the hot scale, I'm a 10, baby.
Yes, the donation is broken on the Twitch alerts. But I appreciate whoever donated and tried to get me to wink. Who was that? Shorts donated $10 with the hearts. Thank you very much. But continuing on with the mind games talk, because you do have a macro opener here from both parties. Yeah, there's the early pool. There's the Ling flood when you show roaches. There's the, I suppose there's some opposite things to that, where there's actually roaches when you make it look like a Ling Baneling attack, although I think the other one is a lot more popular. There's the roaches, you know, roach one at the front, and you actually go into a fast spire, although that's a little less popular and more just like what you do in the ZvZ nowadays. It's not really a trick. I would definitely say that that type of Ling speed attack is one of the trickier things ZvZ can have done with it. But we have a Baneling nest fairly early. I think, like, if you really go for the perfectly timed Ling opener, macro Ling, ZvZ opener, it's like third base, Baneling nest. If I had to, I guess. But by doing this, SortOf will absolutely have his Banelings in time to anything aggressive Zanster would do, and he will have it absolutely in time for anything aggressive he wants to do. I mean, it's very common to see 10 to 20 Lings made around these third bases because you both want to try and kill third bases. Sometimes they just meet in the middle and go, okay, you're defended, I'm defended, let's not do anything about it, go into roaches. And sometimes one person just has better Baneling lane control and tears down the third. More often, I would say it's not control, it's positioning, but you get the idea. These Banelings are just such spiky little stress balls. Although if you squeeze these, I think it'll be quite stressful, actually. Probably shouldn't do that. Lings do try and catch, sort of, as I was saying, out of position. That's, I think, more so where you get the third base kills. It's just finding the Lings entirely on the other side of the map or defending their main base. SortOf, though, smart guy that he is, left the Banelings there, and Zanster actually missing a beat. Didn't account for that potential, so lost too many Lings. So his attack didn't go so well, and now he has to worry a little bit about defending. Sort of has his lings and his banelings, and to not use them is a bit of a waste. At least test the waters. But Zanster, he has banelings, he has lings. It's actually not something that sort of should be able to tear down. And now is that point in time where the real good Zerg player will be droning behind these little microaggressions, and whoever can read the flow of ZvZ better is going to end up on top. Not taking out those lings yet. Those banelings not going to make the greatest hits, and as I said, I don't think SortOf's going to be able to do too much. There simply is too much defense, and he's not committing to this anyway. Wants to really grab that baneling, finally gets it. But Zanster, he gets the drone lead initially because SortOf adds on the Roachwarren and +1 and Lair much, much faster, and then makes his drone. So I would say that's better for SortOf. He's only literally like a step behind these drone counts. It's 9 drones for Zanster, and then 5 seconds later, 9 drones for SortOf. But he's already going for these time investment things like +1 and roach speed with the Lair. So Zanster will just be straight up behind with that. I think there's a ling there. There's a couple lings in the main base. Not going to try and hide and become banelings, but just really wanted to see what the Lair timing was. And of course, if there's a Spire, that's kind of what the choices are in the mid-game ZvZ. Speaking of a Spire, SortOf has one. He's gone for roaches, he's gone for +1 and roach speed at the front, but with the added addition of Spire behind it. Now, if Zanster was going for his own attack, either an all-in or, you know, holding off on any higher tech and going for a lot of roaches, well, SortOf might be putting his resources in the wrong department. But he's not. Zanster's going for his own Spire. Everything is just later for Zanster. The good news is he has a 4th base already on the way, and he was up 6 turns like a moment ago, but now 4. So his income should be higher consistently, eventually. That's a pretty scary ling force that sort of's gonna try and jump on top of the hatchery with. Okay, and there are banelings waiting, so rip. They get a new able for the 42. They've had 42-month resub. That's a long time. So 8 Mute is already on the way. Zanster is going to be a little disappointed to see them already out when his are still building, but it's not the worst timing in the world. It's more of a question of how much did Zanster manage to save compared to SortOf. If he is seeing 9 mutas already with his on the way and he's only making 6, well, he's already lost that war, and thus his muta investment's kind of a waste. Of course, the other question is SortOf planning on sticking to them? He's getting both the +1 flyer weapons and +2 missile. I feel like you can get one or the other, you know? Not both, so that's a little bit weird. As I said, SortOf has the greater muta count. I just need to collect them all. There we go, 9 to 6. Zanster is going to play the muta game. I thought SortOf was, but +1 isn't what you want in the muta game. It's +1 carapace. So now that he knows it's mutas, because you know they didn't get sights on the Spire, either one of them. Is he gonna regret going for +1, or is he gonna let that ride out and get to Hydras? I mean, I'm actually quite confused about SortOf's game plan here, and I think a lot of you know, strategy had to be shifted once they discovered what they were doing. Well, that was a bit of an awkward attack. SortOf is going to have much faster +1, but he is going to start losing out in the muta war if he's not careful. He still has the muta lead and the upgrade lead, but it's not as devastating as it was when it was 8 to 4, and you know that's clearly the 8 muta player wins. Fifth base now on the way. It's a little bit weird of a game too, because sometimes when you see muta versus muta, it's really about who gets the 4th base and those gases. This game is about who gets the 5th and those gases, because it was a Spire after a Roachwarren for both of them. +1 is done for SortOf, so maybe you could have taken a fight with 3 more mutas, but it's always so hard to tell. And +1 Kerberos is seconds away from finishing. It's also a little bit awkward because Muta vs. Muta relies a lot on the Ling Wars on the ground and how those are running around the map, but because SortOf is going into the ground army, it's not really the case. It's just so weird seeing someone dedicate really quite a lot to mutas, but then actually go into Roach Hydra. It's very much so either you go full on with the mutas or you take a huge risk by usually going for infestors, not Roach Hydra. Well, this is going to be a bad attack for Zanster. Now, he sees how many Hydras there are, and he actually tries to pounce on top of them once he notices, but there's still a lot of Hydras left over, and the muta count hadn't been so much in favor of Zanster. It was only a little bit, and the reinforcing Hydras come through here, and Zanster does not win that fight, and now he doesn't have a ground army either. He just took a really bad fight. It looked like a really cool idea, especially when those roaches were hopping on top of the Hydras, and if SortOf didn't have as many as he did, well, maybe Zanster's mutas snowballed to victory. But without it, it was seriously just like a teeter-totter. It could have gone either way very quickly, and it definitely went in SortOf's favor. I do believe this is enough to snowball. Zanster's really hoping the mass muta thing would work out. Yeah, GG. SortOf takes game number 2. Just looking better at the ZvZ matchup. What a weird ZvZ. Again, just the units they were both getting at the time and what they were actually dedicating to was very odd. But SortOf did it correctly. So, hey. That'll take us into potentially the last game. Zanster's map choice once again, but I want to take a quick 2-minute break before that. So, see you soon. Almost perfectly timed out there. The last map could be Abyssal Reef. Zanster versus SortOf, and SortOf, thus far, has gotten the upper hand. Will that change here? In the bottom right, he is up 2-0. It's SortOf. In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is Zanster. Recently picked up for Storm Gaming. Recently, as in like a couple months ago. Recent because you don't get to cast him that often and say that often. So it's a constant reminder. Just like a reminder that Alive is on my insanity. No one's gonna remember. Now, Zanster actually has the clan tag, and I'm sure once he participates or gets a little deeper in these big tournaments, that'll be hand in hand with his name. So apparently, Rifkin says we are very close to reaching 1,000 subs again. We need 3 more subs. We're currently at 997 subscribers, and 3 more would give us the grand 4 numbers. That would be pretty amazing. Feels bad it dipped down after we even had a couple of cushy months at like 1,200. And being up to 1,000 again would really be quite cool. And we could do something special for it if you guys have any good ideas in the chat, or maybe just 3 people are actually good into their hearts, or maybe they don't realize their Twitch Prime sub is available. Go ahead and check that. Or if you don't have it, consider getting it because Amazon Prime is super useful. Just saying. But of course, if you don't have the money to sub, or you've already used your free sub, then we're not going to guilt you. Just appreciate you guys watching, ideally without ad blocks. That's how we make a lot of our income. And if you want to be extra helpful, then you can go down to the links below, the Corsair links, and just look around. Even if you're not technically willing or ready to buy anything, just even a look can go a long way. And of course, follow the channel. That's free and easy to do. But back to the game, we had a macro opener for both players. I think maybe there's a difference of there definitely was a difference of a pool first versus a hatch first. Sort of a pool first has much faster lings. And he even took a pathway that is trying to hide them. In a very, very ideal world, you can get a queen kill off of this. That's if the Zerg player makes absolutely no lings and tries to be as greedy as possible. In the less ideal world, you can take on the lings and get a drone, a third base drone, or just, a regular drone trying to mine. The Ling War goes very well for SortOf, despite Zanster trying to pull the drone. That was really good. But I don't think he lost a drone. So all's well that ends well? Yeah. In fact, that ended up being worse for SortOf. Although I guess the cancel of the Spore Crawler, it's too much to actually look into. Speed is done a lot faster for SortOf, and he has been building once again behind all this aggression a lot of lings. This time not holding on to him nearly as long, but it's not nearly as much of a trick. It is just like, hey, I have ling speed. I'm going to run at you with lings. That's how this is going to work. Zanster saw it as soon as possible with this Overlord and had his queens already trying to get in position, but you know what, if this will reach, that's not the only way into the base. He wraps around with more lings to get us around all the queens before they have transfuses, and the lings of Zanster are popping out, still kind of, you know, well, 2 at a time, really, but you get the idea. They were getting partially surrounded. Now that there's a lot more, Zanster might just be able to hold here. Another queen to help out too. And SortOf, without any banelings, has to get back to droning because he's not going to break Zanster here. No quick victory for the final game. Now Zanster needs to be careful not to ever underestimate the power of just mass lings. But with a spine crawler and still making his own, he should be fine. But now it is that, you know, very dangerous ZvZ moment where you can either under-defend and die, or over-defend and lose out in the macro game. So he needs to get back to his own droning. SortOf is still catching up, so that puts Zanster in a good position, but SortOf is, in fact, catching up. So he's not out of this game for that ling flood. In fact, if SortOf can manage to get away with this game without a bailing nest, that could help make up for the income deficit. What would I do at 1,000 subs for my own channel? Well, that's a whole other world. Shorts! He donated $10 and found it in his wallet to sub. Thank you very much. 998. Marcuso256 with the sub. Thank you very much. 999. Who wants to be 1,000? Who timed this out absolutely perfectly? We'll see. SortOf is trying to get away without a bailing nest, but is going for roaches and such. He has to be very careful not to lose his lings to a single baneling of Zanster. Because if Zanster sees an opportunity to rush forward, he will, and SortOf won't quite be prepared. Although this wall, I guess he would be, but he would still be not allowed to take a third base for quite some time. Cookie Dealer ends up being the number 1,000, and yeah, with Twitch Prime. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Burn, burn, burn. I can't do air horn noises. I even try. Oh, SortOf has fallen behind in the drone count again, and he will fall behind in the third base. That's given because it was opener, but it's also given because of the faster roaches he was able to get. It's a question of, does that make up for the later third base, or doesn't it? He is getting +1 and roach speed, but... Oh, well, yeah, of course he has a lair, because he's getting roach speed, duh. I never said a but. You guys didn't hear anything. Shh. So he should be going to an actual macro game, but... like, he's getting third base, he's not getting more drones. Maybe just timing out a large roach swell with the +1 and roach speed. That could definitely surprise Zanster. He gets in here with an Overseer, but can he truly tell what's going on? Unlimited lasers! Bit late to the 1,000, but still 1,001. I mean, that's still pretty cool. Apparently we also have a raffle going on, so guys, get in the chat, see what's happening there. Anyone who has been watching this channel for at least 10 minutes is enough to buy a ticket. There you go. So, a lot of roaches were made with that +1, but he adds on drones after the fact, and it's not quite as all in as it could be. Zanster got an Overseer in there, but how can you truly tell when someone is roach flooding or not? So I think it's quite difficult to do. Certainly when they've reached 60 drones, 3 bases saturation, then it's expected, but anything before that, it's a little bit difficult. The roach flood was not scary, as Zanster was already totally comfortable making his own roaches. The ling attack off to the side is also not scary, with his own lings and banelings to respond, and SortOf doesn't find any leeway here and is simply behind economically and in the army. I was trying to go for double upgrades. Will that come out in time to save him? Zanster has moved across the map, not only with his roaches, but also with his lings, looking to put a point on the board. Very smart play by SortOf. Unfortunately for SortOf, a single Baneling won't help against a bunch of Ling run-bys. He does have to keep a sizable portion of his army in a not easily surrounded area. Now these rocks have managed to buy some time, but SortOf's got to be very, very scared of losing this +2. That's just so many more roaches for Zanster. But he's got to have 10 more soon, and that would put him actually even above that of Zanster, especially when it comes to being on the front line. Zanster chooses to attack upper ramp into defender's advantage, and he's not going to be able to take any leads from this, I don't believe. He certainly won't be able to snipe any of these buildings unless he risks losing his army. I managed to take an okay fight, but the +1 carapace just finished for SortOf, and he's going to also have +2 faster. And Zanster, I don't think he took anything bad from that. I still wouldn't take any leads, but he still maintains his lead of 6 drones. Will the +1 carapace make up for any numbers deficit SortOf might be at for his limited economy? Zanster also invests into, tunneling claws. Has to also get burrow. Yeah, there we go. That's going to be a few minerals and gas not contributing to the frontline attack, and that upgrade deficits could be big. He's going to push up the ramp. He still has the upgrade lead. 10 more seconds for Zanster, so it's the entire 2 upgrades, and probably the most important upgrade in ZvZ. The +2 was already done for SortOf, and Zanster might have just lost that lead. The perfect timing for SortOf. Can divert his advantage, hold out for Zanster. By that time, for Burrow for +2. Did he just... Oh, okay, just finished. My bad. I was waiting to see it on the right side, but it did finish. Is it too late? He's already down by 20 army supply. He's got a spine crawler and reinforcing roaches to help him here. He still has a lot more drones, and SortOf isn't taking too many advantages from this yet, but can it snowball? Thank you very much to Crooks TV for the Twitch Prime sub. 1002. Zanster is attacking away from his spine crawler. Oh, I think that's actually the worst thing you could possibly do. He was already on this like really, really tight line to defend, even with the spine crawler, and to go without it might have just been enough to force the snowball. I mean, it could have snowballed anyways, but this is now definitely going to snowball. SortOf, with the upgrades, with that attack, is going to take the 3-0. He also loses a ton of drones. SortOf loses 7. Zanster loses 18. Obviously much worse for Zanster, so SortOf even has the economic advantage now. And I think that's going to be it. Taking out the last remaining roach, and then Zanster's probably pretty disappointed. I think he knew he had to lead at least 1 point in this game, but managed to lose it. GG, congrats. SortOf takes a 3-0. That is the best Zerg in this tournament. We didn't have the Nurchio or Thermal or Showtime show up. Nurchio usually grabbing that best Zerg title, but still a lot of good Zergs that showed up and SortOf managed a 3-0 Zanster. I think it's pretty impressive. But that's going to be it. It was just a best of 5, so congratulations to SortOf taking first place. Zanster still walks away with a bit of cash, as well as the 3rd and 4th place. People as well. Contestants? Kind of. $20 for Zanster, $6 for SortOf, so that's gonna be it. Thanks everyone for watching. It wasn't the longest Corsair Cup cast, but I'm okay with that. Stay at a solo. Rifkin's a little sick today. No problem. I'll be back later on a different channel casting more Korean StarCraft, and then this channel will be back in like 15 hours, I want to say, for the Alima League. That'll be bright and early for me and Rifkin. Hopefully he feels better and is able to cast. Do us a favor and follow the channel. Big thanks to everyone who subbed throughout the day, especially those who push us over the 1,000 mark. that feels pretty cool to have that happen once again. And please look at the Corsair links down below. This was the Corsair Cup, sponsored and powered by Corsair and Twitch. And I think this was the third one, so next week would be the monthly, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if the schedule is quite set up yet, but there are some plans to do WCS qualifiers as well as maybe a couple of BTSL, so just pay attention on Twitter for that. So you can follow BaseTradeTV on Twitter, at BaseTradeTV. Follow me on Twitter, at ZG Gaming. Twitch and YouTube are both Zombie Grub. And you can use the Amazon links down below. If you're going to buy anything from Amazon, use that, and it helps me directly. I think that just about covers it. But thanks everyone for watching, and all the kind words, the resubs, subs, and even the donation that we got. Thank you very much. And I'm going to end with some ads. See you guys in like 15 hours for the Elima League. Bye.